Hello my beautiful badgers, Mexico back again with another Love Dave interview. This time it's with Andrea from Clayxels. Clayxels is up for a Unity Award for 2020. And this interview was taken by live Twitch stream, www.twitch.tv/themessycoder, where we're doing 12 days to Christmas. Every day I'm interviewing a different asset store, publisher, developer, streamer or game dev. So sit back, enjoy, and I'll see you all in a moment. Your calendar says Cinti today. Yes, it's actually a double bill. We've got two people who are up for awards. We've got Claxyels, Clayxels, Ocean Spire Parts, Clayxels, with Andre, and we've also got Cinti Studios. And I've just got him up on the Skype. He's live, so he's not allowed to say fudge, and he's not allowed to say bugger, but he can say something in Italian with a wonderful Italian accents. Buongiorno. Buonasera.
It's pronounced Clayxels.
It's pronounced what?
It's pronounced Clayxels.
Clayxels? It's not pronounced Clayxels?
It depends on how you pronounce.
All this time you thought it was Clayxels, and we were wrong.
It depends on how you pronounce voxels, I guess.
Oh, it's like voxels but with clay.
Yep, that's what it is. Hello.
So, welcome into the stream.
Thank you.
And obviously, like we said earlier, you're going to sing a medley of different Italian songs.
No way.
And they were all going to be a wonderful, perfect harmony. Do you know what? You're not going to sing for me, are you? I know it.
There's no way, most especially Volare. There's no way I'm going to sing that one.
Tell me, what is it about Volare that you don't like?
Well, I can tell you this. It's not Volare itself, although that's terribly cliche.
It is?
Here's the thing about Italians listening to music. It's at least for me, it's mostly English music, right?
Yes.
So there's no freaking way that I'm gonna sing in another tongue right here in front of other people that are here to enjoy themselves, talking about nerdy stuff.
People want to hear. Like, did you hear yesterday? It was lovely. It was a lovely. Day before. Yesterday was Greek. Day before was Spanish. Previously, we've had French. Oh, people love a foreign tongue. They love it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I hear, I listen to English music mostly. So
why don't you do an English song in an Italian
accent? I'm left with a... No, that's horrible. I'm left with a...
Like the ice cream adverts.
Which ice cream advert?
Oh, my friend. Okay.
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to break all of the rules of Twitch for DMCA'd. Right, I'm gonna get DMCA'd for you. Okay? You're now gonna have the most offensive British adverts.
I've been living in UK for a while, but I don't remember any offensive ice cream advert.
Okay, so hang on. I bought Clayxels in a sale. I'm hoping to use it in a tower defense project. That's in my list.
Nice.
Merciless Enemy has just said he came just for the singing.
Ouch.
So I like to point that out. Okay, so let's go to the browser. Here it comes. I'm not sure if anyone can hear this. I can't even hear it. Why can't I hear it? Audio? Hello? I can't hear a thing.
We can see it. If it's offensive enough, it should be offensive from the images. Oh yeah, there you go.
There you go. See, straight away, it's
some Venice, and then what?
Why can't? Oh, we can hear it. Maybe let's put it at the beginning. Okay, you ready? This is what British people thought was Italian music in the 80s.
I can barely hear it though. The thing is, you guys are never quite offensive enough.
We're never offensive enough? Oh,
No,
my friend.
not compared to Italian, Spanish. I think French are pretty badass at that. But you guys are too polite. So that's yeah. It's okay. It's okay if offensive. You could have done better. Oh, that's a cornetto. That's a good one. I love that ice cream.
Here we go. Hang on. I think I've got the volume working now. No. Why is the volume still not working? Come on, Messi. Fix your USB audio.
Without audio, it's actually even more.
Without the audio, it's actually quite peaceful. It's lovely.
It's a good ice cream actually, but I don't know if you guys still get it and with that name. Maybe it's a vintage, but it is a good ice cream. We still eat it around here.
Cornettos, they're very expensive. We get cheap knockoffs from Tesco's now. That's Tesco value.
The Tesco Nettos.
Yeah, Tesco Netto. There you go. Do you know what we could do? Do you know what we've just led up to, Andre? We're gonna make a cornetto ice cream in Unity using Clayxels.
Which you just told me you never opened it.
I know,
ever
exactly.
In your life. That's gonna be fun.
And this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna make, and it feels as though this was planned perfectly. So everyone's sitting at home in front of your Amazon mirrors, your Google watches, your Alexas, your fancy, powerful PCs with your 3070 graphics cards. Give a warm and messy welcome to Andre from Spare Parts Oasis, creator of Clayxels, aka Clayxels or Clayxels or Claxyels. Welcome, Andre.
I never thought this name would have given so much grief to English speakers, to be honest. It's funny. Because you're not the first, by the way.
And apparently nobody can hear me now because I've messed up my audio levels.
To mess with cornettos.
To
mess with the cornettos, I've messed up my audio so much that the perfect intro was destroyed. Messi Coda, you need to come back from the bear cave. We can't hear you. Messi sounds like a quiet television off in the other room. That's actually possibly the best way that you could enjoy one of my streams of my audio, is have me quietly in the background in another room while you're doing something else. Yeah. What are you watching, dear? Nothing. It's just a madman ranting to himself about how everyone's out to get him. Just ignore him. He'll tire himself out soon and he'll go back to sleep. Talking about people who are out to get you, how are you enjoying Unity? You were open sourced over there. Everyone on Twitter knows all about you. And then here you are on the asset store. Straight away you went into a humble bundle and now you're in the award ceremony.
Yep. That was unexpected.
Unexpected to say the least. We didn't even know who you were a few months ago, and suddenly you're the most famous man in Unity.
I wouldn't quite say that. I guess.
You're the most famous Sicilian Unity developer.
That's likely, yes. I'm probably the only Sicilian in there.
I think you never know. There might be more. Hands up in chat. Who's from Sicily in the chat now? Come on, Sicilians.
Yeah, we don't get many around here that mess around with Unity, I guess.
Well, I was going to do a load of Sicilian cliches, but I'm a bit worried you might put me in a concrete pair of shoes and throw me in the river, so I'll avoid them.
Well, I can get back at you with UK cliches for every Sicilian cliche you throw at me, so just be careful.
Please do. Please do, because we deserve it.
No. I had an amazing time when I was there. I've been first living in Guildford.
Oh, wow.
Around 2005, working for Lionhead back then, which then got acquired by Microsoft Studios.
Whoa. Hang on. One moment.
Yeah.
One moment. Rewind. Put a pause and rewind. You were working for Lionhead?
Yep.
Please go on.
It was the year 2005-ish, 2006.
I love the way you start it. You started like, it was the
Sorry,
year
no, what am I?
2005. Everything was quiet, but there was something in the air that we
But
didn't
that's
know was
about it.
there.
That's where the story ends, really. Because then I started going to the pub, and that's where my memory starts becoming a blur.
Is that why they got acquired by Microsoft? Because you are always in the pub.
Well, we did a lot of pubbing. There wasn't much else to do in Guildford, to be honest.
Well, possibly working at your job would have been a good thing to do.
Yeah, we did some of that. I was way younger back then, so I did a lot of that too.
So what were you doing at Linehead then?
I was doing mostly. I was in this thing called Central Technology Group, which was mostly hated by anyone in the company because we were supposed to deliver generic solutions. Now, anybody who does even the slightest bit of coding knows that anything vaguely generic usually just doesn't really do great, unless, of course, you are a massive company like Unity or Unreal and whatever. So anyway, we were this tiny group meant to deliver big generic solutions. And back then I was doing animation and rigging toolkits for the company. Wasn't too bad. In that specific sphere, which is rigging, I got some hate from the people in the company because they were also transitioning from Max onto Softimage, and I was hired as the Softimage guy to deliver.
Oh, so they blamed it all on you.
So yeah, that was hell. They were like, "Hey, Softimage doesn't start, and Andrea broke it." What? But they were a really lovely bunch. Back then we were working on Fables 2. It was a really nice project. It was fun. Then I moved to London and started doing VFX. So yeah, I've been in the UK for quite a while, 3 years or more. Again, pubs don't help with keeping tabs of stuff in UK.
Well, I was going to say you could work out how long you were there by the price of a pint.
Yeah. Fortunately, the salary was a bit higher than that, but yeah. Try living in London with that kind of wage.
Oh my word! Chat, it's an early time normally for the stream, and people in the chat seem to be a bit confused about what the time is. So they're like saying, "I don't get off work for another 2 hours." Fresh Meat says. Another person saying, "It's 8:30 over here, and it's 2:30 for Fresh Meat." Fresh Meat, you need to just pretend that you're working. That's all. That's all you need to do. That solves all of your problems. Or, just like Andrea does, just go down the pub while you're supposed to be at work and blame it all on Softimage, and then you'll be fine.
Rest in peace, Softimage.
Well, when I was looking at Claxyels, this reminded me of what was it called? True Space 3D that had NURBS. Was that it was the first 3D modeling? It was like NURBS. Now with NURBS, and I was like, what is it? And the other thing was just like balls. Everything was, and you could like manipulate and with like clay form your ball into whatever shape you wanted it, and it was like you make lots of clay-like equipment, clay-like objects, and then just mold them into the shape you want. And when I look at Clayxels, that's what I think of. It's just this old man remembering a magazine that he wanted back in the day when computer magazines were on paper, not the internet. Oh look, there's a new technology out. I'll investigate that.
That's the cool thing about the tech at the core of Clayxels, for which I will not claim ownership at all. It's been around since, like, I guess the 80s. And there has been quite a few cool softwares back then that were mostly just doing metabolds. I also remember being a kid messing with 3D Studio. We're not talking 3ds Max, we're talking 3D Studio on DOS. And
yeah, I remember that.
Mind blown when I tried metabolds. Now, this stuff isn't quite metabolds, but at some point this tech kind of went dormant, and demo sceners kept using it because volumetric modeling is basically just math. So being just math, so for people that are not really familiar with this kind of tech, it's all math formulas that can tell the computer how to describe solids. So there's no polygons, right? And the cool thing about these solids is because there's no polygons, there's no topology, when you put one solid next to another, rather than compenetrating itself in an ugly way like polygons do when you put a sphere next to a cube, these math formulas can totally seamlessly blend one into the other. So it's demo scene paradise, right? So while the 3D applications kind of forgot about metabolds at some point, demo sceners kept using it. Fast forward to 2018-ish. Former colleague of mine, who probably doesn't even remember that we were working together, again, because I was in the hated Central Technology Group, Alex Evans, father of PS4 Dreams, right? I guess you guys know about this beautiful game / art tool that lets you do amazing stuff on a PS4 and now on a PS5. So basically, he's Alex Evans, who used also to work in Lionhead back when I was there. He loves demo scenes. He messes around with crazy code, doing crazy real-time rendering. He wrote a lot of really nice papers. Some of that stuff we use it as a standard even today in Unity, and many other renderers took inspiration from his papers. So at some point he just takes back these math formulas from his demo scene hat and goes like, okay, how do I make, so there's Minecraft, right, voxels, which is cool. People are doing a lot of crazy constructions with voxels, but how do I take it next level and let people do more organic forms on a PlayStation? Clearly, I cannot use polygons, right? Because I cannot let people with a controller just go and create one triangle after another to create shapes.
You're mad.
Yeah, that would. So he went back into the demo scene and the metabolds and all that 90s glorious math, and they created Dreams. So the way this stuff works is kind of a mix of everything. It's the volumetric math formulas that we've seen in Unity for a while now, called ray marching. I was personally introduced to ray marching in Unity by a fantastic tutorial written by Alan Zucconi. The problem with these math formulas is that you execute them per pixel. They are very expensive. So what Alex Evans did is he managed to fuse voxels with ray marching in a way that is actually really user-friendly, artist-friendly. And that's how Dreams came to be. And meanwhile, I was doing something completely different. I wasn't even thinking about this stuff. I was doing a software to draw in 3D, in 2D. Now that's going to be confusing.
Hang on a minute. So, what? Hang on, I've got a pen and paper in my head now.
So, do you guys know about Queel in VR for the?
I know nothing about VR. everyone else knows everything about VR.
It's a very good software by Inigo Quilez to draw strokes, 3D strokes in space and form sketches that look like they are 2D, but then you can rotate them around. They're totally 3D, right? And I'm doing something similar, but I'm doing it on the desktop. And this is going to be very hard to picture, but I'll try my best. I need to draw 3D strokes from a desktop. So I don't have VR. And I want to open up this cool workflow to make art for my games. And I want to do it on desktop. I don't want to do it in VR. So what I did is I had to figure out a way to draw in 3D with a mouse or a graphic pen. And what I did is, okay, what if I start drawing onto existing 3D surfaces? How do I let users create very easily a base 3D surface to then stroke on top of? So I went back to the demo scene, I went back to the ray marching, all these math solids that you can seamlessly and easily blend together to form shapes quickly. And that was the foundation of Clayxels. It was basically just a quick way to form 3D shapes to then draw strokes on top of those. It worked to a degree, but it was hell to use, right? And it was a custom app, so it was written from scratch on Windows. It was crashing all over the place on users, those few users that ever tried it. And it was called Galumph back then, because it was this very clunky way of going very fast.
I'm glad you changed the name.
I think it was even better than Clayxels, actually. But so that's the whole story. Basically, the sign distance field is the core technology of this thing of Clayxels and many other softwares, including Dreams. And I basically tapped into this potential because I was doing something completely unrelated. Now, it turns out that the guy that was doing Quill, Inigo Quilez, is also the main guy doing crazy paintings with sign distance fields on Shader Graph, which is a online platform where you can just share your shaders, right? But here is how funny life can be, right? So we have Quill. Quill is what inspired me to do my own 3D app to quickly make assets for games. And the creator of Quill is also the main guy sharing knowledge about sign distance fields. But sign distance fields never actually went into Quill. So this guy does not use his own math, at least for modeling solids, inside his own software, right?
Is there a reason for that? Maybe his maths is bad. He's got bad maths. Naughty boy.
It is witchery for sure, but it's really good. And that's Quill that you're showing right now. It's beautiful. So I wanted to do something similar. It led me to having to use sign distance fields, so math solids. And then what happens is, okay, I realize my custom app is just too much for a single developer. So I scrap that and I go back to Unity and I decide to make this new iteration as a Unity plugin. The main drive in all of this, the reason why this mad person is doing all of this is to be able to create art for his own games. Okay, so that's the contest. I want the context. I wanted to make art for my own games quickly. Nothing bad with Blender. It's just that it's not my thing.
Blender is the devil's bumhole. Really.
Yeah, it's not my thing. It's you see this amazing stuff done by Blender artists. Then you open it
exactly, and you're like, what? obviously they used something else. They couldn't have used this because no one in their right mind could have made anything with
exactly. So that's my drive for making Clayxels. So I go back to Unity, I scrap the idea of making a whole standalone application, and I take the most fun part out of the project that I'm abandoning, and that's sign distance fields. Again, math solids that you can quickly chunk together to form shapes. And that's how Clayxels was born. It's been in development for now close to almost 2 years. It is almost 2 years. I know exactly because I started during the paternity leave when my daughter was born 2 years ago, exactly.
Well, public congratulations for surviving the paternity leave.
I'll try and apply some of your methods with that later on. I'll try and make her roll on the floor and stuff like that.
Exactly, it works. Trust me. We got some questions in chat. Because you mentioned you got everyone excited.
Let's have one.
And talking about really. Thank you, Blue Star Fan, for the follow. They're asking. So does Claxyels work then? Does it perform well with Quest? So if I was going to make a VR game, could I use Claxyels to do my the graphics for my VR?
So Clayxels, unfortunately, uses every little bit of juice that your GPU has at disposal. And unfortunately, these devices don't quite have a dedicated GPU yet. Well, they will never have a dedicated GPU, but it isn't quite there yet to be used on a mobile device. And the Quest is basically using a mobile chip. That's going to be one of the next few things that I want to work on. Because to give you the full answer, yes, you can use Clayxels and deploy virtually anywhere, because Clayxels eventually lets you freeze your assets to a mesh. So by doing that, you can totally use your assets anywhere, even on a Quest. The thing with Clayxels, which is interesting, is now if you just press P on your keyboard and try and select the big donut, and you click, click again, and that's your donut. If you start moving it around, you will see that it's very playful. Oh, you selected the container.
See, I told you that I'd break things.
That's gonna be fun. On your left, you have a list of what we call clay shapes, and you can.
What the hell have I just done?
Okay, you selected it. So as you can see, it's very playful. So the first natural thing that people want to do when they discover Clayxels is they want to use that very feature, the clayness, in their game.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Because this is very unique, and you're like, whoa, I want people to be freaked out like I am.
Yeah, which is totally fair. It's fun, but it's very expensive. It's very taxating on the GPU. Now, as I keep working on it, things get faster. But of course, it's going to be another while before you can have a game full of stuff like that, interactively performing voxels operations with underlying sign distance functions. So that's why Clayxels was conceived as a sculpting and animation toolkit. It kind of nods at the idea that you can use it in-game to make volumetric effects as well, because you totally can. You can totally deploy on desktop, you can deploy on next-gen consoles, and this thing will run, and it will perform decently. It's just that when you start working that way, so if you want volumetric running in real time in your game, it's not a matter anymore of having the tool follow your ideas. you got to work the other way around. It's you doing what the tool can, basically. You have to design your game around the many limitations of this kind of tech. If you have the newest GeForce, the 380, is it? Probably you can have crap loads of these guys all performing in real time. The thing is, not many people have that yet. So we're talking a few years down the line before that's possible. In fact, if we look at Dreams again, I should give more credit to Dreams, absolutely. I mentioned how my inspiration for everything that led to Clayxels came from Quill for Oculus, but actually, after I started researching into time distance fields, I inevitably bumped into Alex Evans' research on PS4 Dreams. And the technology that I use is basically coming from a paper written by Alex Evans talking about Dreams. So that's the full history right there.
Yeah, and you need to give Walker, because if you ever bump into him and go, we used to work together, and he'll be like, oh yeah. You're the guy who ripped off my Dreams for Unity. Like,
so
no, dude, no, I didn't rip it off, man. It's all good.
That's a funny thing. I sort of stupidly felt guilty about that for a while, and I've been chatting with Alex once. Alex has been really supportive on Twitter. He's been retweeting Clayxels a couple of times.
Did he?
And yeah.
Did you tell him?
Hey. Well, I told him that I was inspired by his own stuff for sure, and he seemed really happy that someone else was taking interest.
But did you remind him that you used to work together?
Yeah. Then after a while in chat.
Did he pretend to remember you?
No, he didn't even pretend. Well, he used to work in a small room. I still remember when they gave me the tour of Lionhead. He used to work in a room doing his own prototypes. He wasn't doing sort of, if there were like 300 people working on Fables, he wasn't part of that. He was doing his own thing always.
Oh wow! And he was so good that he was always left alone. Like, leave him. Don't speak to him. He's developing a time machine. Leave him alone. He's cloning himself.
Yeah, he just goes his own way, and he was researching very cool stuff. I'm sure some of that research eventually got also used in the commercial games that they were doing, but back then, when I saw what he was doing, there were some really crazy prototypes. One was like a room where you could put portals to throw balls bouncing around. We're talking 2015. Physics in games is barely a thing yet. So anyway, big kudos to Media Molecule for pulling off what they did with Dreams, because it's really an amazing tool. And basically, I realized that that's really what I wanted, what I needed to make art quickly for games. Just a way to create shapes and quickly put them together. So inevitably, I bumped into the research, and after a little while, Clayxel was born. Now, when I say I use their paper as inspiration, you have to think about it's. I don't want to get you Googling.
You don't want to get me Googling. I'll tell you that now.
Yeah, because I'm not sure how to find this one, but the papers from Alex Evan are like they're like scribbles. They're like funky drawings on paper that he probably did 5 minutes before going on stage and showing this thing to everybody. So it wasn't very easy to decipher this technology. It took me a while to understand, also because I'm not really much of a graphic programmer myself. I love programming, I love making games, but graphic programming is kind of a job of its own. You have to learn a lot about how the GPU works, and I've learned all of that while I was working with Clayxels. So basically, it's been just a lot of nights reading this paper over and over and over until I started understanding bits here and there. And as of today, nobody really knows how dreams works. What you see in Clayxels is my interpretation of that crazy idea. Another software to really look forward to is called Unbound.io, and they are about to hit the desktop market and VR market really hard with the same. What did you do?
Unbound.io. Hang on.
Yeah, Unbound.io is basically a same sort of spiritual journey from these other guys in San Francisco. They are also very passionate about this kind of tech, and they're developing a desktop application to do this kind of stuff, and they're taking it next level, really.
Ooh. Keep crafting.
So the thing is, there's not many people doing this stuff. It's really, really new, and so
well, more people do it when you gave away all your code for free on GitHub. So, aren't you just opening the door for more and more people just to make copies of what you're doing?
Well, in my case, it's not free code on GitHub. It's open. It's mostly open source code that you get when you buy the asset, because I firmly believe that that's the right thing to do when you're selling an asset on the asset store. You want to give people in production an easy, like a fire exit in case things go bad. And so far it has proven like the best choice, because first off, some people sometimes find a bug, like you will inevitably do if you keep messing around like that.
Well, I've already can't work out how to do the subtraction.
Subtraction is that,
and he doesn't do anything.
It's on the.
Oh, hang on.
It's that, yeah, that guy, and then you have to make sure that these, yeah, you see it's subtracting already, but it will only subtract what comes before this solid in the hierarchy.
Oh, that's why it wasn't subtracting the other one.
Yeah, it's like a stack. It works from the last solid that you created all the way to the top. I can get into the nitty-gritty details of how it works, but basically, if you really want to see what you can do with this software, the best way is to look up Alex Strouk. That's the guru, really. He's the guy pulling off stuff that I look at his work and I'm like, what? How did he do that with my stuff? Like, why I cannot do that with my own software? That's outrageous.
So he's basically taking Claxyels and he's making amazing things with it. And you need to learn. You need to follow him to learn how to use your own stuff.
Yeah, he did some brilliant tutorials.
Wizards on his other account saying, holding myself back. I'm Wizards and I'm an open source purist, hence holding myself back on the open source definition. Well, actually, yeah. you first released some of Clayxels open source on Git, didn't you?
No. It was never on Git. It was on itch.io. It was on itch.io in a public downloadable beta for a while.
Oh, but it was still publicly for free, though, yeah?
Yeah, but it's not open source by definition.
Okay.
That's true. It's correct. So when I say open source, I mean
the open as in it's not in a DLL.
Yeah, I mean the literal meaning of the sentence. Like the source is open. You can deploy closed source DLLs on the asset store, and nobody will ever be able to mess with your code.
And a lot of people do. I've got a traffic pack like that. You got to pay an extra 500 quid for the opened source version, not opened source.
Yeah, because it's really valuable in production. So
why didn't you do that? Why didn't you go, you know what? Here's the closed one, DLL, $20, $30, whatever it is. And if you want the code, give me $500 or $100, $200.
it's a bit late for that. Yeah, it was a good idea. I didn't think about it.
You can't put the genie back in the bottle.
I didn't think about it, and back then, yeah, I was naive enough to think that
no one was going to take it and steal it.
Yeah, nobody took it and stole it, but it did spread quite a trend. So
nobody. You didn't think nobody was going to so quickly be complimenting you by copying your techniques.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to get complimented so soon, to be honest. But I still stand by my decision to keep the source open. It's the best choice. I know that the Asus store tends to be a bit crazy on pricing and really getting every penny off of you if you need an asset. Like, here is the closed source version, but then I'm going to sell you the open source version, and then I'm going to sell you this and that. At the end of the day, I did Clayxels for myself. It's my tool to make my own games, and that's why it's priced so low compared to other tools that sort of fall into the same category. I really love the fact that people just buy it without thinking much about it. I mean, it's still pricey. I mean, if we think games prices, this thing is expensive at $30. But if we think Unity assets, it's incredibly cheap.
Exactly.
For what it allows you to do. Stop breaking it, please.
Is it upsetting you?
Just stop breaking it. So yeah, the curve can be broken quite easily. I
love that. Oh, I'm just okay. So
yeah, basically. So
why can't my pink blob deform my yellow blob?
So you want your pink thingy? Oh yeah. So you are in two different containers.
Oh.
So the moment here is how this thing works.
What the hell just happened there?
What happened?
Look at that. Oh my god, that's a thing of nightmares.
What's going on?
Oh my god. My children are going to scream at night if they saw that.
I don't know how you did that.
Wow. So what did I do?
I honestly don't know.
I can't redo it. I can't redo it. I did Control Z, Control Y. I can't go back and do it. What did I do?
I honestly don't know how you got to that mess.
Man.
But so
it looked like camera clipping. Yeah, it looked like camera clipping, but the camera clipping in the form of nightmares. But there was a duplication of. It looked like it was rendering it twice inside itself. There you go.
First bug of the day. You got quite a talent at breaking my team.
I have. I've got a talent at breaking everyone.
So what you're messing with is clay shapes, right? And clay shapes live inside clay containers. Clay containers, basically, if you get hold of one of those and you bring it around the scene, that costs just the same as moving a mesh around your scene. That's the cool thing. As long as you move the container, which is the root of your sculpt, this thing costs nothing, right?
Okay.
And the moment that you touch one of the clay shapes, clay objects, the math goodness starts falling on you. The GPU kicks in, and that's where the clay stuff happens. But as long as you just move the containers, that's incredibly cheap because nothing needs to be reevaluated. Because if you zoom into this thing, you will see that at the end of the day, it's a point cloud. And that's another funny story about Clayxels. It's written all over the place that it's a point cloud, because it really is. It's a point cloud. That's how this thing exists. Without this being a point cloud, it becomes even heavier. And some people really get upset by that.
Why do they get upset?
Well, they buy it because they like, as soon as you zoom out, the thing looks just like it could have been made out of polygons, right? and it can still be made out of polygons if you freeze it. But while you're working with it, the only way to display this stuff is through the points. I could show you polygons while you're working, but that's slightly slower, and I don't want that. I don't want to add an option that is not optimal, but that's another thing. So people come to my Discord and go like, hey, I just bought Clayxels, it's amazing, but I see points. And I'm like, yeah, it's a point cloud. It's a bloody point cloud. It's new stuff. It's
even your daughter's agreeing with you in the background. She's going,
I think my daughter just realized this is a point cloud in the other room. It's a point cloud.
I want my money back.
Yeah.
Hashtag refund. We've got you covered.
Yeah, can I voice over the refund thing?
Yeah,
here?
come on.
I'm sure everybody does.
No,
I want to add my voice.
That's
love
what you're
the
here
asset
for.
store.
You're here to get everything off your chest.
I love the asset store. It gave me some good bucks for this thing that I call Clayxels. So thank you, asset store. I love you guys. But the refund thing, honestly, like I get to read emails that no developer should ever read.
Oh, come on, give us your best. You obviously don't mention any names. Kevin from Hertfordshire or something.
Okay,
Margaret from Devon.
The
from
points.
Scotland. Come on.
The points thing is one. Like, can I please have a refund? Your plugin uses points as advertised. Some refunds are totally fair. Like, if it was for me, every refund is fair. Like, I refund everybody. I know they're gonna keep the plugin, which I still update every so often, so it doesn't really matter. They keep the old version, but I do refund everybody. And most especially these days, I've been refunding a lot of Mac users because we found a crash that I'm working my ass off to fix. But anyway, so some are totally fair and some are just hilarious. They basically mail you with a bug. They find the bug, right? The thing is got bugs. It's been written by a human, so eventually you find the bug. They find the bug, they write you the email and go like, hey, I found the bug. Can I have the refund? And I'm usually like, yeah, like I'm going to give refund like, no matter the bug.
Why do you say no? How's that one? Like, do you want to have a refund? No, go away.
It's with a $28 tool. Sometimes it does feel like I should be saying, dude, if you want that bug fixed, I need to keep your $28 so that I can keep working on it. But they found the bug. They don't like it. Some people actually get a refund because they think this thing is going to do what you're doing now, which is Clay math at 1,000 frames per second on their laptop, which it doesn't. The cool thing about this technology, sold as a modeling and animation toolkit, is that you can frame skip it. And that really gives you a boost. And that is totally fine for sculpting. But some people, they want this thing to become the building block of their next game and go completely crazy on it. And unfortunately, we don't live in that time yet. That time will come eventually, but we don't live in that time yet. So they ask for a refund, kindly pointing out that performance is not what they expected, which is totally fair. If you think you just want this technology to make like Doom out of clay objects that aren't just moving around, but also performing clay mathematics per frame, then yeah, you're gonna be disappointed. You can probably have a few of these guys performing clay operations in real time on screen, but as soon as you add a dozen, your game is going to go slow, and that's how it works. That's also why I included every possible kind of baking solution in there. You can freeze it to mesh. You can even bake the animated point cloud so that it's basically a giant GIF.
Really?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, I'm going to do that.
Don't, because you're gonna break it. I call it claymation. And
You called it claymation. Claymation already exists as a term. You can't
I totally invented it.
You can't steal Wallace and Gromit's claymation and claim it's yours.
I own it now.
I actually, when I was younger, I went to go and do my work experience at Ardman's, and before I was trying to get my work experience at Cosgrove Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Cosgrove Hall being the people who did Count Duckula and stuff, but they also did something that I think you would love. Let me find it for you. Because I think you're going to love this. Right? Are you all ready for this?
I did grow up with Wallace and Gromit, by the way, which
this is a little bit before Wallace and Gromit.
You should be proud of. So I do love it.
Jump and we'll take you for a spin and show you round the wheelie world. Hop on, it's fun to come along and take a look at wheelie world.
That is early Nick Park.
So Nick Park, who made Wallace and Gromit, used to work for Cosgrove Hall.
Oh, I didn't know. This is lovely. This is so nice. I want to make a game like that. You know, I've been stuck in what I call a nautical, which is the game that I'm reimagining now in VR for like the last 3 years. And it's very dark and gloomy, and basically I spend my daytime daydreaming about making colorful games after I finish with it.
Is that where, if I go to the Unity Awards, page, is that this thing here?
I cannot see it on your screen, so I don't know what you're pointing at.
I'll give it 3 seconds.
Oh, okay. No. That's most definitely not an article. That's just one guy that I did to promote Clayxels.
Ah, I was going to say, because I saw that on your Clayxels thing, and I was like, here it is under the box. That's really disturbing.
It's nautical is a vehicle, is a big machine that you pilot, and that's a game that I released last year, and now I'm sort of reimagining along with 3 other friends.
Can I get an exclamation mark Clayxels in the chat, please? Somebody give me an exclamation mark Clayxels in the chat. Exclamation mark Clayxels in the chat, please. I need to come up with all of these. And if you see that link in the chat for the steam-powered a Rogue Escape. So that's you. What's that?
A Rogue Escape?
Yeah.
So that's so if Nautical was the first iteration that I did on this idea of you being stuck in a big mecha piloting this machine, a Rogue Escape is basically the same concept, the same game reimagined for VR. So completely different.
It looks like BioShock in VR.
So that's just the intro, but at some there you go. It looks like BioShock in VR. What? I wish, man.
That's the best compliment you can get.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna take it.
You can have it. You can actually put that on the blurb. On the review bit.
That's gonna be the first quote.
Yeah, exactly. It's like BioShock, but in VR, Messi Coda. So there you go.
Slightly risky, again on the refunds topic, but yeah.
No, you just send them to me.
Okay.
Just send them to me, and I'll go and tell them. I'm not on the speakers, am I? Am I in your headphones or I'm on the loudspeaker in your home?
No, you're not. You can swear as much as you want.
Okay, so you just send them to me, and you say to me, I want a refund.
I want a refund.
No robe de balle.
Your stuff is low. Get me a refund, man.
Spacca le teste.
Okay, that's not. Yeah, that's not bad. Again, I mean, it's not bad as in you've pronounced it well, and it's not a bad offense.
Exactly, it's not too
really
bad.
Have to work on the bad.
I like the Non rompete balle.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. See?
Can I translate it?
Yes,
Or,
of course you can.
yeah, it's don't break my balls. But the first one that you said is I'm gonna break your head.
Exactly. So then you put them together, you go, don't break my balls, I'm going to break your head.
That's really good. So back to before we dive into this VR thing, back to wrap up the refund moaning. It's not about refunding. It's just
it's about idiots. Is it about refunding or is it about idiots?
No. It's not about unhappy users. They have all their reasons for being unhappy, and it's not up to me. I just don't want to deal with them. Please, Unity, don't have us deal with customers. We're not sellers. We are developers. We don't have to,
see, that's the problem. Unity have just given you a platform to sell your stuff, right? And therefore, they don't want anything to do with you. All your problems, all your headaches.
But that's the thing. They will never hear me.
I've got your headaches of your customers. I never want to deal with you, but I want my cut, right? So like any good drug dealer, they want to get their money from you, right? But as soon as you start having your teeth fall out because you're addicted to meth, or you're breaking into people's houses so you can steal their TVs so you can pay for your next fix, they don't care about that. It's not their problem. You knew what you were getting yourself into when you started taking drugs, as in working with Unity. So
I can
it's
sense some addiction anger.
Can you sense the asset store addiction anger?
Yeah, I can sense it. It's a great place. It's a great store. I mean, it's great to be able to buy the stuff to make your game, and it's awesome as a creator to be able to get money for what I'm doing. If I was to just shout out to people, hey, I'm doing this thing, it's volumetric, it's for Unity, nobody would buy it. But thanks to the asset store, a lot of people are discovering it and they're buying it. So just refund people. Let them have that one magic button like on Steam.
That's the thing. I'm going to play devil's advocate and go the other side, because if you're putting the power of the refund into
everybody's going to refund.
Everyone's going to refund, right?
Yeah, but that's like Steam. You gotta do some way of just uninstall the thing from people's computer.
I'm going to say there's two things to do. Either everything has to be in DLLs, right? If everything was in DLLs, right, and everything had some hidden spyware like Spore did when it first came out. Do you remember when Spore first came out and everyone was like, "This is full of spyware. They're monitoring all of the weird, dodgy things I do on my computer. I'm nowhere installing this." You need the same kind of thing, right, on everyone's assets. And then no one will be allowed to release open sourced assets.
But it's easier than that. It's easier than that. They can totally spot something like an asset, even if it's open source, on your project. So Unity is mostly connected these days, right? They even check on the license every now and then.
Artwork, people are just down buying the stuff and you're not even using it inside Unity a lot of the time as well. Don't forget. There's a lot of stuff you could just get.
For assets, that's true.
Yeah, and rip out the code and then just make another, C# file with your code. Just change it a little bit, put a different namespace on it. Away you go. No, the only way you can get around it is if everything's DLL'd. Or do you want to know the best way to resolve the refund issue? Mm-hmm. And I'll throw this out there. And if Unity want to come on, we'll have a chat. The best way to resolve the refund issue is that Unity handles all of the refunds, and all of the payouts are paid by Unity only and not by the publisher.
Right now, refunds are paid by Unity. I gotta say that. I mean, we do owe the payment. Then, of course, it goes like a minus in our store, in our personal page.
No. I mean, they pay for everything. There is no minus. I mean, the full refund comes from Unity.
That would be lovely. I gotta say, that would be lovely. Unity, if you're listening, I'm totally up for that.
So that is the only solution, because only then would Unity be in a position where they'll be like, hang on a minute, I'm going to investigate this refund claim before I accept it. Otherwise, they'll just be going, boom, green light, right, refund, boom, green light, refund. You know, so it needs to be some kind of stick rather than a carrot for Unity.
Well, I give refunds to everybody, to be honest. And
you're like the most non-Sicilian person I've ever met.
Sicilians are not greedy; they are like lazy. So probably, yeah, that's my Sicilian. But I can't be bothered to go argue with people. So you want the refund? Yeah, off you go, man.
Oh, at no point would I see that.
And
Sicilians
take a cornetto while you're at it.
But I mean, I would never cross a Sicilian. You know what I mean? Or I just wouldn't do it. I want to have my electricity on in the summer, so I wouldn't do it.
We don't go unplugging people's electricity.
Well, okay. Let me ask you one question. How many times has your water been cut off this year?
None.
Exactly, because you're paying the right people. That's what I'm going to say. Right?
That's not how it works.
I watch the movies. I know exactly how it works. And that's the kind of attitude we need for the Unity Asset Store.
Yeah, maybe I can suggest a trip around Sicily and maybe they can learn some ways. I don't know, but all I know is that it's a waste.
Refunds. You show no respect.
Yeah. All I know is it's a waste of time for us, and also very it's not really good on motivation. There are some days where what I do is really hard. It takes a lot of time, a lot of passion, and sometimes you open your email in the morning and there is a guy going like, your stuff sucks, give me my money. And you're like, all right, no worries, you got your money, but just like, why do you have to say that this stuff sucks when it clearly doesn't? Like, that's the thing.
Do you reply that to them?
No. I'm usually just rather cold. I just reply going like, I need your invoice number, not the stupid number you gave me, which is, I don't know, your phone, whatever you gave me. I need the invoice number. Thank you. Bye. And I also tell them that it's going to take a while, because it's true, it's going to take a while to get the refund, because that's the other thing that happens. Some of them write back to you going like, why I don't have my refund yet. So now I always tell them that, because it creates confusion in people's minds, right? Like, I'm refunding you, you're writing to me, so I'm refunding you, but that's not how it works. We take that invoice number and we give it to Unity. That's the joke. We give it to Unity and we go like, I approve this refund, and that's it. And then they take a few weeks, because of course they have a lot of stuff to take care of. They take a few weeks and then they do refund. But sometimes during those few weeks, some people get back at me mad because I didn't refund them. And so I have to explain them again that I'm not personally refunding them. I'm just authorizing Unity to refund them. So it's a bit confusing. Unity, please, if you can sort it out, make us happy.
So, like, if anyone from Unity is listening, and if you are from Unity and you're hiding in chat, pretending that you're not, like me, I don't work there. You've never heard of it, mate. Unity? No. I work for you. Knee tie. It's a company that sells ties for knees. That's how I work for.
I bet they didn't. I think they're pretty proud of what they created.
If anyone is from a company that sells ties for knees in the chat, look, just think about it. If you handle the refunds, you handle the costs, you leave the publishers to get on with what they're doing, and then it'll be more incentive for you to stop any kind of defrauding shenanigans, and then people like Andrea can get back to making sure that Clayxels works on a mobile and a VR headset, and then so many people won't be asking for a refund when their Macs don't crash anymore.
Yeah, it's a happy circle.
It is. So now I'm looking at this Toon lighthouse, right?
Yeah.
And you've given this statement such as, "Oh, you can bake it or whatever." But before that, I was looking at the foliage example, and it had the tree foliage, right?
You cannot bake that one. Did you try and bake that one?
No, I didn't. Why can't you bake that one?
Why did you try and bake the only thing that you cannot bake?
Because
The one thing. So that's how it works. I'm kidding, of course. But so when you zoom in, you see the Clayxels. Those are what I call Clayxels, the voxels. So some effects do exploit the actual voxels, right? Like the foliage.
Exactly.
Foliage is done by using these points and texturing them and having them face the camera and a whole bunch of other clever math under the hood. So to use that asset, you need the shader to keep an understanding of the voxel form. And when you bake to a mesh, you lose that underlying data.
So can you have in your game? Do I need to bake? Or can I leave them as voxel?
Oh no, you can totally leave them as voxels. That's
Claxyels.
The beauty of it.
Claxyels, you mean? Yeah.
What happens is that when your game starts, it will generate this stuff for you instantly, and your assets weight just like a few kilobytes rather than megabytes with meshes.
It's better to leave them in their Clayxel form.
You have the choice. It's up to you.
But can I rig them and have them moving around in their Clayxel form then?
Yeah, you can do that.
What?
You can rig them, animate them, and if you're not happy with performance, let's say you need a few of these guys bouncing around, all playing their own animation, you have a few different options. You can either bake to mesh and skin it like with Mixamo and do that. Yeah, for example, this is performing in real time. This is 4 guys computing clay over and over per frame. So that's very expensive. The alternative to that is you just freeze to mesh, skin it like if it was a standard character, and you have that. Or you can, if it's this is a procedural animation, so it doesn't make sense to bake it to claymation, but my own term, copyright. But if you have like animations that you want to loop in a game, and you like this way of working, so you just move the clay objects in the animator timeline. That gets you an animation that you can bake to file, and that's not going to compute at every frame once it's baked. And that preserves. Claymation is a file that preserves the point cloud, and it doesn't compute anything. It's literally a point cloud on disk, but it's very, very optimized. So it doesn't weigh a ton.
I want to make an Among Us game, or not a Fall Guys game, using Clayxels and have them all falling into each other, hundreds on the screen at once, blurring into each other.
You're going to ask me for a refund.
And if it doesn't, I want a refund. And chat saying, Sengoku asked a question. You haven't asked Sengoku's question because Sengoku wants a refund. Now, I saw Sengoku's question. I was about to answer it, and then we got talking about foliage. So there you go. You've got to wait your turn.
What's the question?
The question was, is there a way to make the point clouds more detailed when zooming in?
There is automatic LOD. That's a new feature, which doesn't. It's like what you're seeing now is your highest res, but that's just because you decided that's your highest. Like that's the resolution that I sculpted. That you could have made it higher res. Of course, the higher the point cloud, the point count, the more impact on the resources, memory, GPU, whatever.
How do I start? So hang on, I want to create them. I'm going to create a new container. How do I create a container?
You go on the plus button on the top left of the hierarchy.
Yeah.
Or the game object menu, and you go, that guy. You go.
Clayxel container.
Yeah, I cannot remember the sub menu. Once you have the container, you can add clay objects inside it. So basically, to answer the question, you sculpt at a given resolution, right? And then what Clayxels allows you...
That's this Clayxel detail. Is that the
yeah,
resolution?
Yeah.
So if I put 500 in there...
doesn't let you do that. You can only go up to 100 for now. We have an inside joke about that with Alex Struck, but I won't go over it. And you can also decide how big this container is by specifying the bounds size, which right now is 111. So you can only sculpt within this cage for now. So there is an automatic LOD, which reduces the amount of points rendered as you go away from the object. But there's no way to make it more detailed than what you're seeing at full resolution. That's the resolution that you sculpt at, and that's your final resolution. That being said, from code, you can do all sort of tricks, because everything that we are seeing here being done in the editor, you can also do it while the game is running. So you could increase resolution while the game is running. Of course, that's just expensive.
That's just naughty. Now I've got 2 balls.
That's good.
Unlike Hitler. And I've got now, I can choose my color.
Yeah.
And I choose this one.
The other thing that some people struggle with initially is the size of their primitives. Like they want to go.
My balls are massive. How do I get them smaller?
Well, the balls.
Do I just go like that?
You can just scale them.
Oh.
But the thing is, as you scale them, you will see that the dots remain the same size. So you've actually, it's like painting inside a bitmap, right? It's voxels again. So the voxels are fixed in size, and they are controlled by the Clayxel density parameter. So the smaller your primitives, the lower effectively the resolution. Is like painting pixel by pixel on a bitmap. If you make them bigger, they will just occupy more dots, more resolution, right?
So it's better to make them really big, and then they look higher resolution.
Yeah, the trick is to really occupy as much space as you have available in your cage. You can also make the cage bigger. You can really go pretty big with this thing, but it's really resource demanding. So the bigger, the slower, etc., etc.
So how big can I get my container then?
I think it's around 4 by 4 by 4 grids, which means what you're seeing now multiplied 4 times in each dimension.
I can't. Yeah, I would try to go 10 by 10. But wouldn't I?
No, it would make your GPU explode. So that's how big you can go, which is pretty big, you know.
So now I've got. Whoa! Look at that. What happened to my bum? Look at that.
So now what's happening is that you're running out of points.
So I've got a limit of how many points I can have.
Yeah, that you can decide from the...
Now it's a bunny rabbit.
You can decide the budget from the config panel, but it's really... Don't do rabbits, please. It's like... against the it's in the contract. When you buy this thing, you're not allowed to do rabbits.
You're not allowed to do any bunny related.
Yeah, yeah. Bunnies are forbidden. Actually, what happens is that the software it's gonna give you a pop-up. If you were to go forward with a bunny, the software would have refused at some point to complete the piece. So that's another big limitation of the software. You cannot do bunnies.
I love the people in chat going, really? That's an insane limitation. Why would you make such a limitation? Why would he code
for people really thinking that this thing cannot do bunnies or thinking that I'm nuts? Clayxels inspired.
I love it. Wait. Dan says, is it because Mudbun has claimed bunnies?
Well,
I think it's a little bit more than that.
Yeah. Yeah, they got inspired by Clayxels, and I'm guessing that the original idea behind that plugin was to make something different, but it ended up being very, very similar, if not with many more features. Because full disclosure, the programmer behind that plugin is brilliant, just not very, he didn't really want to do his own thing. So he ended up doing something very, very similar, which is fine, free world. It's just very, very hard for a developer to do this kind of stuff if people keep doing it too, like the same. But
imitation is the best form of flattery, and in a way, it's full circle of you with your former colleague at Lionhead.
Yeah, I thought about that for a while. I was like, well, I got inspired by something else, and someone else got inspired by me, and that's fine.
You're passing on that same inspirational magic.
Yeah. The only thing is I didn't hurt the guys at Media Molecule at all. Never.
There's a right way of going about it, basically.
Yeah. But anyway, it's been a while now. Initially, it's been bad. Because Clayxels was just about hitting the store when it inspired this other solution. So initially it looked really bad. It almost looked like Clayxels was not going to make it.
Oh, man.
Well, yeah, you cannot launch something if someone else just copies it and launches it at the same time. It just doesn't work like that. You just cannot do that. I mean, if I was doing this alongside another job, then maybe, yeah, but I do this for a living along with games. So the only way that I can make this is if this is profitable. The moment it stops being profitable, I cannot make it. So ripping it apart and doing the same thing, it's not helping it. But again, with time, they started diverging more and more. And I trust that eventually the author of Madbun will go back to his initial promise, which was doing something different, something more to do with effects than sculpting. And he'll find his own way. Also because it gets kind of annoying when things get so tangled up together and users start becoming confused as to what does what, because they do too many similar things. But again, with time, I've seen his solution has started to do different things, and maybe
get its own identity.
Yeah, maybe given a bit more time, he'll find his own spot.
I'm making a pair of shorts.
So one trick what you're doing, for example, to avoid the ugly cats is to give it a bit of soft blend.
Oh, how do I give a bit of soft blend?
It's that blend parameter on the inspector on the right. So while the sphere is selected...
Oh, my word!
The first one, the first parameter, that one. Just give it a bit of that. That's a lot, but a bit less, and you start fixing that the crunchy borders.
Oh, that's nice.
And again, if you make this bigger, it's gonna help with the.
Hello. Come and say hello. Come and say hello to everyone. You're live.
Hello.
You're live.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Bill. I have gone to bed now.
Right, go to bed. Right.
Hello.
Hello. Good night. Love you.
Bye-bye.
Give me a high five.
The same scene is about to happen.
Right, close your door.
It's just occurred to me we have to watch Home Alone with them this week.
Yes, we do. Goodbye.
Bye.
The same scene is about to happen with my 2 years old, which is gonna want her
Exactly.
story
You have this. You have
in a
the same
few
thing.
minutes.
But as long as they're not running around naked at the bath time, I've had that before at stream. Stream's on and the bath time's on, and you can hear running around going, "Look at my willy!" No, the windows are open. The neighbours is like board.
Now
no neighbours can see.
Now I understand why you got a lovely avatar instead of the webcam. It's because of flying weenies around the house.
Exactly. That's exactly why. It's to prevent the flying wieners that you got flying around the stream. Happens once, happens too often. So we're not going to make that in Clayxel form.
Well,
In terms of service.
it kind of lends itself to it, but I haven't seen many weenies so
Well,
far.
I've been accused of making naughty things already, and then not naughty at all. Although this could be nostrils, couldn't it?
Yeah, why not? Somebody, I just looked at the chat window. Somebody asked whether you can change the cloud resolution afterwards. Yeah, one of the cool things about this technology is that you can change anything, anytime. That's really why I use it myself, because I'm a rather insecure artist, so I hate to commit to what I do. And with polygons, even with softwares like ZBrush, it's a continuous commitment. Every brush stroke, you commit to it. It's there to stay. With Clayxels, or Dreams, or anything that uses this technology, you don't have to commit to anything. Whatever you do, you can change it afterward, and that really helps if you are either just a crappy artist like me that doesn't know what he wants, or if you are just researching. The other day I was making a gun with this thing, and usually I sketch on paper before doing something 3D. But with this software, the cool thing is I just start with the software straight away, and I jot down I put down some solids, and I start putting them together, and I move them around continuously until I find a shape that is pleasing. And I don't have to pre-visualize it, because then I have to commit to it once I start sculpting. It's all the same. Prototyping, researching, and actually getting the shape out of it, it's all part of the same process. That's what's so nice about this technology.
Well, now, if I was to bake this, hello Mexico, hello Tata, hello Luku. Can't you just use Claxyels as a 3D modeling alternative? I mean, Sengoku, that's the point of it. Sengoku's got round to the actual. This is what Clayxels is for. Clayxels is made as a alternative to Blender. Going back to what we said right at the start, Blender is the devil's anus, and there's a reason why we don't use it. Or it's because you don't want to be that close to it. So
Blender is super powerful, but sometimes you just want to make stuff quickly. Say you're making a game jam, or say you're making a game art style that lends itself to something like Clayxels, which means not too many nitty-gritty details, but great shapes that you really define and never have to really set in stone. You can keep changing them. You can keep iterating on them. So that's what Clayxels is for. It makes you make the asset without leaving Unity. And then if you don't want to commit to such novel technology with point clouds and all that, with this thing building the assets on the machine of whoever downloaded your game, you can just freeze it to polygons. It's as simple as that. You just click on the container, and then under extras, there's the freeze to mesh button, and that's
right,
it.
So
that's all.
Let me get my nose in the right place. Okay, so there's my beautiful nose.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody starting from a nose in a sculpt. It's interesting.
You've never seen anyone start from a nose?
No.
It's better than it started with a kiss. So there's my nose.
Yeah.
I'm actually quite proud of that nose.
It is a good nose.
You know what? We're gonna go a little bit. We're gonna go a little bit more.
Another trick with this thing is, say you wanted to add eyebrows and eyes to this nose and make it a full character. You don't have to actually do all that within the same container. The cool thing is you can split container. You can create another container, create an eye, place it or an eyebrow, and then duplicate it. Just put it on the other side, and so on and so on and so on. So your sculpture can live as individual pieces inside many containers. And then these containers, again, they can be transformed around in space very cheaply, even without converting it to a mesh, which means you can even have a character made of cutout pieces that you've sculpted, each piece inside a container, and then you just rig.
I broke it.
Like that.
So you're not supposed to drag something from one container to another.
Oh no, you're totally supposed to be able to do that. If that doesn't work, if that doesn't work, then you just got a bug.
Yeah, I got a bug.
But you're totally supposed to be able to do that.
So there you go. I got a bug. Bugged it, baby. You're welcome, Andrea. As a gift from me to you.
Yeah, you're tearing it apart. One way to get out of this maybe is opening the config window and just hitting reload.
Open the config window. Where's the config window?
It's in the main container. Well, first I need to understand what's going on even with the new container. Did you add a new piece and that's showing, or even the new piece you added?
I went straight into adding a new container, then just dragged in.
Yeah, no, I saw that horror, and that was a bug. Sure, if that didn't work.
So, I got, oh look, arguments out of range. 80 of these. Oh, look at that. Clayxels container has exceeded the limited points allowed. That's probably when I went crazy.
Yeah, that's when you went crazy with it.
What's Twitch chat saying? Asking how many subscribers do you have on YouTube? Some reason I cannot see that. I don't have enough. I don't have enough subscribers on YouTube. It's the answer to that one. Have they removed it or something? YouTube removed that recently. Oh, not sure. I know there were reasons, but I don't know why exactly. That's interesting. I didn't realise that. It's odd. Alright, so if I remove that and I now go back to my Clayxel inspector, I click add clay. Now, where is this clay? Clay is now in the middle of the lighthouse. No, the bug
you
isn't
didn't
a bug.
spot a bug. You made me sweat. The container wasn't there. Man.
The container was in the wrong place. But
you know what though? You are really the best kind of tester. If this thing doesn't break in your hands, it's solid. Because you're really raping this board.
So here we go. So I've got, here we go, it's in and out. There you go. And then I dragged it out of there as well.
But you made me sweat. You know why? Because this has been a bug in the previous release, and I was like, "Fuck!"
Oh, look at that! Look, you're not allowed to say "fudge" or "bugger." You're lying.
Oh, sorry. But I'm not English. I'm not a native English speaker.
No, that's the thing. And non-native English speakers are allowed to swear as much as they want.
Yeah, to us it doesn't mean anything. Like, to me, it's like saying yogurt. Sorry, guys. I just said yogurt, really.
Oh my word! Don't say yogurt.
Oh, sorry. I also said yogurt.
But look at this. Look at this. I can replicate this out of range error very easily. So just grab one of these. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And now, oh look at this! This is a new one. I've actually broken. I've broken Unity so much. I'm actually able.
You're causing havoc all over it.
Oh.
I don't know how you're doing that.
So I'll show you what I did. So first of all, I have to delete this because that's what's called. Hang on, delete. There we go. It's gone. So that was causing all of the shenanigans. So to replicate this bug, grab one of your Clayxel objects, drag it outside of your container.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Drag it back inside your container, and now
it's gonna get mad.
It gets mad because you got a red thing.
Mm-hmm.
Has Messi Calder ever told his name? He's told it to some. However, I will warn you. I will warn all of you of the joys of the internet. Hopefully, Andrea has not experienced this yet with the emails that he's received. But you will meet trolls, and you will meet some people who are crazy. And I've received, bizarrely, odd number of death threats and other such threats against me and my little ones for the most bizarre reasons that have got nothing to do with me. People threatening me because of assets that I've reviewed, and they think I'm the developer of those assets, right?
Give them a refund.
Exactly, because they're asking for refunds or they're asking for free copies. Okay. At no point have I ever received any hate mail or threats about my own content or my own tutorials. And my tutorials and my code are full of bugs. Okay, and the comment section on YouTube have people complaining that they can't download a lot of my code unless they're a subscriber on Twitch, in which case they can go to the Discord channel and they can download the code for free. But if you're not a subscriber, you have to pause the video and type it out manually. It's not the hardest thing in the world, and let's be honest, if you're copying it as you're watching it, you're going to learn it, you're going to retain that knowledge more. It's a gift from me to you to help you learn better by forcing you to do a bit of effort, you lazy buggers. Right? But no, the people who want to send me very beautifully worded insults are people saying, this asset has been deprecated. Why did you deprecate the asset? Like, I didn't even review that asset.
Why did you deprecate it though?
It's like, not only is that not my asset, I've never even reviewed it. I've never done a video on it. I've never tweeted about that asset. Why are you talking to me about it? It's like randomly. I drank a bottle of milk. It tasted like yogurt. And I'll be like, how dare you say yogurt to me in an email? That's the feeling that it basically is. But anyway, we digress. This is how you replicate the bug.
So yeah, you dragged the object outside of the container, which is something that I never do. And sometimes this bug pops up and then I patch it and then maybe it pops back up because I never do it. So
there you go. Drag it out,
did the one
drag
thing
it back
you were
in,
not supposed to
and
do.
then do this. Oh, he's not doing it anymore.
And you're still doing, you keep doing it. I'm freaking out right now. You just keep doing this thing that I never do. It's
there you go. Look.
Stop doing it. Stop doing it. Stop doing it. Stop.
Oh, you're breaking my baby.
Stop.
You're breaking my baby.
No, it's good. It's good. Bugs are there to be fixed. You know. I got a lot of very patient. Those that don't ask for refunds are usually very patient Discord users among Nautical, Rogue Escape, and Clayxels. We now got around 1,000, and they are all very patient with me. and they report bugs, and we work together to fix them. And it's great. Actually, it's great when you find people that are willing to work with us developers.
Who actually
It's just
care
great.
about the product.
It's great because, you know, the bug gets fixed. You know, you find the bug eventually gets fixed. I know some publishers, some Unity asset developers, maybe they just cash in and disappear, but I believe most don't. So
it's such a minority that it's visible. If it wasn't a minority, then you wouldn't be able to tell when it happens. So you know it is in the minority. We've got comment in chat. Barak Dob made it to it. Barak Dob, you're in a stream, dude.
Somebody suggested the on-parent change it. Unity has been giving me so much grief about using Clayxels in the editor because it lacks a lot of events that would be handy. I don't think I tried on parent changed. I use on hierarchy changed to monitor most of the changes that happen in the hierarchy. Between that and the garbage collector going funny, telling you an object is alive when it's been deleted and stuff like that, sometimes it's been hard.
You just need more error handling in your code.
It would be lovely if Unity gave us those, like more events of what's happening in the editor. We don't really have access to a lot.
There's a reason for that. They don't give you a lot.
Same asset with different colors. You can tell which ones are going to disappear because try catch. I use a few try catch here and there where Unity doesn't allow me to do better than that.
I love this. I love my nose, dude. I love my nose. I have to say, I love my nose. As I was trying to read Barak Dob, who I put a comment about you in one of my videos, Barak Dob. Barak Dob says, I have had death threats for free-to-play games on the Google Play Store. Were they even your games or just random games that you haven't even played? Angry says, my games are meant to be frustrating and somehow I haven't got any threats yet. That's pretty weird. Can you put containers inside containers?
Yeah, you can.
So I'm putting a container inside a container.
Yeah, you form a hierarchy of containers. That's handy when you want to, for example, freeze the whole thing to a mesh. Say you are doing a character and your character has many parts divided into different containers. You go to the root container and you freeze that one to a mesh, and they all in cascade will freeze in turn.
So I could have my nose on a face and
yeah,
that's nice. So now I'm going to freeze my nose. So I go to my nose and I say freeze mesh.
So yeah, you click the container and under extras you're going to get the freeze. And now it's a mesh.
But how do I do the UV unwrapping and stuff like that?
That's your damn business. Clayxels does all, as you've seen, there are coloring primitives and all that. So the workflow really is all about doing everything in Clayxels. Adding UV unwrapping would mean creating a whole new asset. There are some cool unwrappers on the asset store. But
so can I add textures to it? Like I want to have a. I want to put some
anything basically beyond this step is up to you as a creator, because you go into polygons territory. So
so now I've got it. I can actually go and put it in some third.
You can export it. Yeah, you can export it as FBX. Open it in your favorite application, which is Blender, and do whatever you want with it. Or as some users do, you can keep working within Unity. You know, there are plugins to unwrap UVs, edit the mesh.
Oh, Dan Vico saying you're going to need UModeler or ProBuilder to UV unwrap. There you go, and then it can still live inside Unity.
Yeah, and you keep going like that. I don't think I'm gonna ever get to those parts because they're huge and they're pretty standard to any polygonal mesh workflow. The idea here is that if you are making your assets with Clayxels, you can go pretty far with just what Clayxel gives you. So coloring primitives and all that, you can add color with that. And that's it. And then you just leave it at that. If you need more than that, then yeah, there's so many good polygonal tools around that I didn't feel like embarking into that mess myself and just...
Defrost, I've just defrosted. I've just defrosted.
Yeah, you can keep freezing and defrosting as you wish and keep going. So that's the other cool thing. Like if you decide that you want meshes, you don't want point clouds in your game, nothing stops you from defreezing an asset at any point in production and just going back to it, changing it, and then freezing it back.
But can I in runtime in the game itself defrost and move?
Yeah, you can do all of that.
So in your game, part of your game could actually be this Clayxel moving.
Yeah, somebody, again, Alex started doing something like that. Alex started doing some sort of creature assembly kit game. There is a cute crab in that video, and he is basically assembling pieces. Again, there's so much that you can do with this tech, even applied to games, that is not just about sculpting. But when you start going down that road, you have to kind of think around the limitations of the tool rather than just...
I love it. It's lovely, man. I could just sit here doing this for hours. Bloop, bleep, bloop, bloop. And someone's going, you could create a spore like... I was actually thinking that. I was thinking this is my blob, and my blob would eat another blob, and my blob would get bigger. And
yeah,
there'll be 2 blobs.
Spore is a favorite fantasy of people that start with Clayxels. We all get that idea of like, we could actually make Spore as it was intended.
And then nobody does.
It's quite a bit of work.
Blob, blob. That's brilliant. Blob, blob. Oh man, look at this. Blob, blob.
You didn't even switch to any other primitive. You just kept playing with Sphere.
I like Sphere. I don't need any other ones. Let's go. Let's do the cornetto. Right. We promised we were going to make a cornetto. Let's do a cornetto and see if I can break. See, maybe I can break it with another primitive shape.
Oh, so I'm sure you can.
I'm going to go with a where is it?
You got a cylinder that can act as a cone.
I was going to say I don't have any cones.
Yeah, you can conify a cylinder.
You know what? I'm going to go new. I'm going to go for a new scene because that lighthouse is putting me off. And I'm going to go out and make a Clayxel container, and we're going to add some clay. We're going to go with a cylinder. My max license expired, so I didn't have a choice. Well, now you've got Claxyels. Blender 2.8 changed everything. Came from max and just couldn't wrap my mind around prior to 2.8 UI. Then 2.8 came out and suddenly Blender was a viable replacement. I haven't touched 2.8 yet. I might do. So, how am I going to turn this into? Oh, you've got a cone option.
Yeah.
Right. So I've got I go cone, and then I go round like that. Looks like a dodgy diamond ring. Sharp. Oh, a bit like that. I want it to be longer. How do I make it long?
You can just stretch it.
Can somebody in chat? Can somebody? No, don't get it. That's what she said. No one. Alright. So then we got now. If I duplicate it and go smaller, touch. Now subtract it. So now I've got an ice cream cone. Okay. So that's
You're also working very, very small. If you try selecting those two thingies and you scale them up to occupy more of your voxel surface, you will see that the resolution is going to improve.
Alright, I'll make them bigger. Whoop. Is that better? Does that make you feel better?
Ah.
Okay. Ooh. Ooh. There we go. So, I wonder what happened with Amplify Painter Tool. Oh. Yeah. Amazing sigh of relief. Amazing sigh of relief. He's no longer making my product look like poop. He's actually using it a little bit better. Sigh of relief. Okay, now I'm going to put a container inside my container. Right?
Yep.
By the way, if I right-clicked in my container and I said make a container, it didn't make it inside my container. If I say make a container, no, it's doing them outside the container. Then I have to drag them in. That's annoying. I don't like that. I have to drag my mouse. Refund.
Refund. Instant refund.
Yeah, exactly. Instant refund. I had to use my fingers. You made me bleed my own blood. Okay, now this is going to be... Do you know what this part is?
Not really.
Come on, you gotta know what. Hang on, why is it? Okay, my shape.
Oh yeah, of course. At the bottom, there's the
Exactly.
chocolate, but nobody can see it. Why are you putting it there?
Because it's there.
Right, all right. It's volumetric, so
just like God. Sense. Just because you can't see him doesn't mean there's not there. God is like the chocolate in your cornetto. Take that to the Vatican Church as an advertisement slogan. The mercy God, he said God is like chocolate in the cornetto. Who is this man? Who is he? Bring him to me. He's come. I bring him in front of you. Oh, Holy Father, he come here. Why his face look like a cartoon picture? He has a lovely head of hair. I love. What is this in his hands? It's cornetto for one.
I cannot believe how much time you're spending putting the inner chocolate that nobody will ever see.
That's important. You need it. You need it, man. You need the inner chocolate in your life. All right, now here's my trick. Okay, I love that nobody got the build up. The entire stream has been built up to, at the beginning of the stream, the joke about, the playing the Walls ice cream advert, and then the entire stream leads up to me doing a joke about meeting the Pope and having a cornetto in my hand and singing Walls ice cream, give me one cornetto to the Pope. I mean, the whole stream led up to that one joke. I mean,
it's kind of genius, I gotta admit.
It is. It's entirely genius. I am, quite possibly, the wittiest man on the internet. There's no denying it. I have to say, even for myself. So there you go. Amplified Painter Seal seems to be on beta. You can find it in Gumroad. We love Gumroad, the place where things go to die. So if we go a bit smaller, now, you see what I'm going to do now? Are you ready for this?
Well, if we can actually see it on the exterior, that's already an improvement.
What do you mean?
That so far you've been modeling the interior.
That's the whole... Hang on. Can I turn off my outside? There you go. Okay, is that better?
You gotta wait 3 seconds.
Alright.
Ah.
You ready for this?
Yeah. Go.
Oh, is it? Hang on. That's upsetting me. That's upsetting me. It's not exactly perfect of what I wanted. There you go. So now, okay, we've got the ice cream, and then if I duplicate this again, Drag it up, and now sub that one. Oh, this is amazing! This is bloody perfect. So now, what flavour ice cream do you want?
Actually, I love chocolate.
I can't put a chocolate with a chocolate.
I know it's a bummer.
Okay, you get him strawberry.
Oh shit.
All right, so now we put back on the wafer. All right, and the wafer is a little bit pinky colour, isn't it? We haven't yet played about with your. How playable is your VR game?
We're actually entering beta this week.
So does that mean that I'm allowed to play it? Because I've got a headset.
If you sign for the beta, yeah.
Is it open though? Is it open beta?
Yeah.
So if anyone does !Clayxels in chat and they go to your Steam page, is there a link to join the beta?
It might be a bit late, but never say never.
Never say never. I love that attitude.
Especially on the, we've received a lot of requests. So I think we are pretty much fully booked on the Quest beta signups. You don't get to choose, by the way. You just state your headset model, and all the other models we're gonna test a bit later on. Rift, SteamVR, with all their crazy models, Index, Vive, whatnot. So on those, there might be some openings. But we've received a lot of requests, so that's really good. And if you don't get it, in the beta, then there is the full game. So you're in luck. You can play it at some point if I finish it.
I'm in luck. I can play at some point. I like that. You shall not pass the bounding box. Exactly. But he wanted me to make it big, and I'm not allowed to make my box bigger than 4. How big's my box? 1. I just make the box bigger than 1. Then.
You can make it bigger, or you can take your stuff.
I don't want to make my stuff smaller.
No, not smaller. You had plenty of room below.
You know what?
But making it bigger is fine. Nobody's gonna judge you.
Well, you say that now. I don't believe that. Where did my ball go? I've lost the ball.
That's bad in general.
I know. Where did my ball go? Oh, here it is, down the bottom. How did my ball get all the way down there? Okay.
I don't know, but I'm gonna say it's your fault for sure.
So there you go. One last. Hang on. You got to go to bed. You got to put your little one to bed.
Yeah, I can hear some knocking at the door.
Have we got enough time for me to put the chocolate?
It depends if you are actually gonna put it on the exterior.
It is on. I'm getting a lot of judgmental hostility against.
But that's Italians. That's Italians for you, man.
Is it because of the Walls Ice Cream song?
Judgment. Yeah. You got me there.
There you
What's
go.
That?
That's a massive chocolate flake stuck in. So, quite possibly, that now is the most advanced thing you've ever seen anyone make with Clayxels.
Can you please, for the love of ice cream, open up any work from Alex Strook? After this ice cream, I really need to refresh my eyes with some of...
oh my god. Hang on. Alex Strook. How do you spell it?
We are really bad in spelling. STROOK. In Italy, we don't do spelling, so we really suck at it.
Alex, technical artist. My word, he's lovely.
Yeah, he's damn good. I mean, I would love to take credit for Clayxels to be that amazing, but that's actually him. I mean, good artists is what's gonna make good art, not the tool. So yeah.
So here he is.
But he can pull off some good ice creams out of Clayxels, I gotta say.
Sculpting a demon girl in Unity. Intro to Clayxels. I need to be watching this guy, don't I?
Yeah. He does a lot of crazy sculpts, and
it's nearly as good as my ice cream.
It's nearly there, but it's just a matter of time, you know. Spend another 5 minutes. Look. It's looking like your ice cream right now, just double ice cream, like double cone. It's just that he takes it a bit further. That's all.
He's good, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he's good. Again, I love to tell you that it's just Clayxels, but it's not. He's good. I think if you give him toothpaste, he's gonna come up with something great.
He can make a Wall's ice cream cornetto with toothpaste.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
But once you've made your Clayxel face, you would if I wanted to rig it, I'd have to go outside into some other application to rig it.
If you want to do traditional rigging, yeah.
I wouldn't be able to animate this face now and have him talking and like a humanoid animation or a humanoid rig.
Well, you can. I mean, all those objects that you're moving, right? They can be moved. They can be animated. So you could technically, if you wanted to, create a facial Clayxels rig. You can just keep moving the objects in a timeline, and they will keep moving.
Yeah, you know when you said that you were lazy? Yeah, times that by about 1,000, and then you've just met me. So I don't think that's going to happen. You know what? This is quite possibly the most surrealist and wonderful toy I've played with, and it reminds me, like you're saying, the concept isn't new, and it reminds me of the stuff that I was doing on my Amiga with True Space. I think it was True Space 3D many years ago. I think before you were even born, Andrea. And it's lovely.
Yeah, the demo sceners on the Amiga were pretty big. I wouldn't be surprised if there were applications taking advantage of those similar techniques even back then. I can't remember on top of my head the name of an application that is really old, and it was all based around this workflow. No just metables, just like Clayxels. You could do many kind of primitives. I cannot remember it. Organica, I think it was called. Organica. And it's really old with a funky user interface. And you could do this kind of stuff. But those were precursors. Like, they got there too soon. There were no dedicated GPUs back then. So those kind of softwares were very clunky. You would basically not see the final result while you were sculpting. You would only see the wire of the primitives. And then you would hit a button just like you've hit freeze, and that would get you the final sculpt. So it was kind of impossible to sculpt with this thing, but the technique was very, very similar.
He just made some hearts and used those hearts to texture the other model.
That's why I told you that you don't necessarily need to unwrap any texture, any UV. You just don't do UVs with this thing. If you're committed enough. If you just cannot be bothered, then yeah,
if you're committed enough and you're not lazy, then you can really.
Oh no, it's totally about laziness. The lazier you are, the less you want to move to another application.
Oh, there you go. The best coder is the best pro developer is a lazy developer. They say, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Laziness is a great way to automate stuff.
This guy's crazy. Hands up in chat who doesn't yet own Clayxels, because we're going to give away a copy of Clayxels. And actually, I've got 3 copies of Clayxels to give away. I do believe. Let me just double check. How many copies of Clayxels do I have before I show everyone in the stream? Yes, I got 3 copies of Clayxels to give away. Who would like a copy of Clayxel?
And those are the last 3 vouchers I could emit this year, so they're precious.
They are very precious. Oh my word! So,
unfortunately, it looks like I will need to go.
Well, Andrea, thank you so much for coming in. You didn't sing to us, but you still won our hearts.
You will keep hunting me with this.
I will.
Like even days after this.
Do you know what? I'm gonna hunt you down. But not only am I gonna hunt you down, I'm gonna sing Volare.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Your poor kids. They have to listen to this.
Oh.
This is gold. All right. It's been really, really fun, and thank you so much for breaking Clayxels.
Well,
I mean trying Clayxels. It's been really, really fun.
Grazie mille for coming.
Grazie a te.
Ciao. Scusi, Prego, Jalapenos, and Dean Martino. Good night, buddy. And you're going to come back on when your game's ready, aren't you?
You could be mistaken for a native.
I'm normally mistaken for many things. but you are coming back on the stream when your game's released, aren't you? You're going to commit to it now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Then it's
2021.
It is a date.
But not too far.
You're not too far away at all. It's only around the corner.
Yeah. It is a date.
It is a date.
Thank you, guys. It's been a lot of fun.
Take care, buddy.
Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.
What a lovely badger. If you want to see more of my crazy videos, click on the left side of your screen now. And down below, there's that big juicy subscribe button, and right next to it is the magic bell that if you click it, it will tell you if I've got a new video coming out. Till next time.